everybody, welcome to the program. Today I'm taking my first stab at those mega glam rockers Kiss with their 5th studio album Rock and Roll Over on Casablanca Records. Let's check it out. The year is 1976. Kiss is at the top of their game. They have just released 2 of the biggest albums of their young career, Alive and Destroyer. In 2 short years, they went from relative obscurity to mega stars that single-handedly saved their own record label. They were at a crossroads musically. Should their next album continue down the path of Destroyer, featuring high production values, strings, and even a chorus? Or should they make a complete 180 and return to their rock roots with a stripped-down, live sound? In the end, they went with the latter, even going as far as hiring producer Eddie Kramer, who also produced their first demo and their breakthrough album, Alive. To capture the raw energy of their live shows, it was decided that they should record the album at the Nanuet Star Theater in upstate New York. What's interesting is that it was built as a theater in the round, meaning that the audience sits around the stage, which is at the center of the space. However, this stage actually moved or rotated, making it the largest revolving stage on the East Coast. Whether or not they used this feature while recording is anybody's guess, but to me, the most ironic part of the story is that the theater is now the Redeeming Love Christian Center. I kid you not, I really wonder if the current owners even know the history of that building. Getting back on topic, they recorded from September to October of 1976. Apparently, to get the drum sound they wanted, Peter Criss recorded in a bathroom and was able to communicate with the band via video link. I think that's just crazy. I mean, in 1976, you didn't even have home video cameras. People were still shooting on film. To get that to work must have been quite the technical feat. With the recording finished, the album was released a month later in November of 1976. It became the first Kiss album to ship gold and eventually went on to platinum status. You may have seen his work for Wreck-It Ralph, the New York Knicks logo, countless Time magazine covers. Please welcome the man who designed the cover for our featured album, Michael Durrett. Come in here, buddy. Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Have a seat. So let's get into this. Do you recall about the time they approached you to do the album cover?
Yeah, of course I know the year. It was 76. And I was pretty much at the start of my career. I was working with an advertising agency called Howard Marks Advertising, and I was doing stuff for them that was not related at all to the music industry. But I was working with this guy. He asked me if I'd be interested in doing a cover for this group called Kiss. To be honest, I never had heard of them. So I said, sure, I'd like to be challenged with anything. So he set up a meeting with the group, and I met with them. They had to explain to me the whole thing about their personas.
So you saw them without the makeup on?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was no big deal to you?
No, because I had never seen them anyway.
I read an interview where you likened them to kabuki.
Yeah, I mean the makeup, and there had been a prior cover to mine by John Van Hammersveld, Hotter Than Hell. Theme did it almost like a Japanese graphic. So I just took that and thought I'm going to do this kind of like a mandala.
Which is one of the things I really love about it, is that you can display it however you want.
I just thought the words rock and roll over, it's just so simple and obvious that I thought maybe this is stupid, you know?
The thing I'm most impressed with is how close your first draft was to the final product. They had very little notes.
The comments mostly revolved around their faces, that they just wanted me to make them a little bit more naturalistic. And I think, like Gene Simmons, it maybe was a little too much like the Joker from Batman.
I also read that you sort of refined the Kiss logo.
They had a logo, and Paul tells me that he designed it, but I've heard other stories. And it's pretty good for somebody who's not versed in graphic design. But I saw certain things in it, so I just decided to fix it. Okay. For this cover. I didn't know it at the time, but when I met with him, I think it was 2009, about the Sonic Boom cover, he told me that I'm the only person that he has allowed to fiddle around with their logo.
Do you feel like you're represented here, like your voice, your style's coming through?
Yes, I do. Or at least it represented me at that time. There was a piece that I had done prior to this. It was a cover for a Japanese magazine. And thus the whole Japanese connection, it was working in my head. I used the very similar colors and a very similar approach
And this has gone on to have a life of its own. I saw on your site you have a bunch of photos of people getting this tattooed on their body. I mean, that must have been a trip.
This whole thing about this record cover, when I did it, it was a job that I did, and I was happy to do it. I never thought about it until I started getting fan mail. And it just seemed to have built from there. And it's just this phenomenon now that I have to say it's not my favorite piece of work that I've done, but I enjoy the notoriety that it has. So I'm not complaining. There's something else that I didn't know till recently about working with Kiss. They started out calling themselves Wicked Lester, and I did a logo for them. And I never saw what they did with it, but it was for Gene and Paul.
That's crazy, and that was way before this.
Look it up.
Wow.
A couple of years before.
I will. So what's the best place to keep up on what's happening in your world?
Come to my blog, which is on my website, michaeldurrett.com/blog.
Well, thank you, Michael, for coming on the program. This is awesome. I love hearing your side of the story. This is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Considering Rock and Roll Over came out the same year as Destroyer, it's been speculated that they rushed this album to capitalize on the momentum they had just built. And while that may be true, it doesn't feel rushed to me. It's a very solid album with a consistent hard-rocking sound throughout. One of my favorite aspects is that all four members sing at least one song each, not unlike the Beatles. I like how this brings a variety to the songs, as it's not just the same voice song after song. Another thing I love is how the album opens with a few bars of acoustic guitar fingerpicking to make you think that this is going to be a gentle ride. But no sooner as you have that thought, some hard-rocking guitar assaults your eardrums, reminding you that this is a Kiss album.
And the thing I want out of life is...
I also really like the use of a flanger effect towards the end of the song. Check it out. While it's not my favorite song off here, I Want You is a great album opener as it sets the tone for the rest of the record. Okay, alright, I love the use of cowbell on track 3, Callin' Dr. Love. This is a great song. It's exactly what you want on a Kiss record. I love it when the chorus hits and the backup vocals sing, Dr. Love!
They call me Dr. Love.
This song became an instant classic for the band and went on to be a concert staple. They've pretty much played this on every tour since 1976. A live version even appears on the album Alive 2. Flipping over to side 2, track 4, Hard Luck Woman. This is the oddball in the group. It sounds like a Rod Stewart song. Even Peter Criss's voice sounds like Stewart. Listen for yourself.
If never I met you, I'd never have seen you cry.
I did some research, and come to find out it was originally written for Rod Stewart, but after the surprise success of their other ballad, Beth, off the Destroyer album, they decided to keep it and use it as the first single off this album, which just makes me scratch my head. To me, this is not the single you lead with. The song, while it has its merits, doesn't really represent the album well. It feels out of pace with the rest of the record. I think this would have been better as maybe the third single off the album, but apparently I know nothing, as the song went on to be their biggest hit off the record, becoming a top 20 hit, peaking at number 15 in the US. Overall, this album's got everything you'd want in a party record. Catchy lyrics, crunchy guitars, and driving beats. It's the perfect way to get you riled up for a night out on the town, and it's made to be blasted in a car while driving. Lyrically, it won't win any awards, but honestly, if you're expecting anything more, you're barking up the wrong tree. This is Kiss at the height of their popularity. They were party animals, and this album reflects that exquisitely. This isn't their most iconic effort, but it's far from the worst thing they ever released. It's maybe in the middle of a top 10 list. It's often overlooked, but it's totally worth your time. If you're just getting into the band, might I suggest picking up their self-titled debut from 1974 or their breakthrough double LP Alive from 1975 before diving into this album. Now, if you're down to pick up a copy, an original issue is pretty easy to come by, but expect to pay a little more if you want the original goodies that came with the album, which include a sticker and a double-sided Kiss merchandise order form. I have neither, by the way. The Japanese pressing is of special note because it came in a gatefold cover and it also included a lyric sheet and a sticker. The first pressings also came with a large fold-out poster. It's pretty sick. In 2014, Universal Music reissued the album on 180-gram vinyl. This pressing also includes a reprint of the original sticker. Alright, all you Kiss fans, I want to know what you think of this album. Be sure to leave a comment and let me know where this album ranks on your list of their best albums. Again, I want to thank Letterform's artist Michael Dorette for coming on the program. Be sure to check out his sites when you get the chance. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I am your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Hey, you're still here. Well, if you're looking for some more to watch, check out my extended interview with Michael by clicking right here. You can also make the featured cocktail called The Bone. Now, unlike my usual cocktails, I decided that a shooter would pair best with this album. It's got rye whiskey, lime, sugar, and just a dash of Tabasco. It's a most excellent way to get you in the spirit of this album. Click here to make it. Welcome to the program. Today, now I'm self-conscious. And just a dash of Tabasco? I can see your face. In 2 short years, they went from relative obscurity. You know, grammatically it makes sense. I don't know why I keep effing this up. Who doggies? Who doggies? Peanut butter crisp.